2021. Everyone, welcome to the council meeting for December 7th. We are starting now. Order. Thank everyone for coming. Can we have a moment of silence and pledge allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Valerie Merman. Yes. Hakeem Jones. Here. Sonia Sanders. Here. Heather Lewis. Here. Rebecca Smith. Here. Thomas LaPera.
Here.
Terry Curry.
Here. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Today we had an executive session in regards to taxes? Litigation. Vice President LaPera, are there any announcements?
No new announcements.
Council, any new announcements? Councilwoman Moment.
Yeah, a Healthy Single Parent is going to be delivering Christmas presents to children and families of single parents on Christmas morning. We still have a few more openings for anyone, if you know of a single parent household where they could use some additional help for their children. Please let me know, or let Councilwoman Sanders know as well. We're both on the board. Thank you.
Any other announcements?
Mr. President, just one, I just wanted to let council know that our police chief, Tom O'Donnell, was recently appointed by Governor Wolf to sit on the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's 911 Advisory Board. And this board was established in 2015 to advise the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Association on the administration and operation of all 911 systems in the Commonwealth. So we're proud that Tom will be representing us.
Any other public comment? Any other announcements? Madam Secretary, any announcements?
You need public comment?
Public comment, yes.
Angel Class, sorry.
Can you please stand and give your name and your address, please?
Yes, my name is Angel Class. I'm with the Small Business Administration, Office of Public Assistance. We're with FEMA. We just want to announce that Friday is the deadline to apply for assistance for all the damages that occur in this county. We're still receiving applications, but please, if you still have a need to apply for FEMA and SBA, please apply this Friday, no later than this Friday.
I'm Tamiko Exford with FEMA's External Affairs for the elected officials, and I am their liaison. I would like to provide the phone number for anyone that needs to register. That number is 800-621-FEMA or 1-800-621-3362, or you can register online at disasterassistance.gov, and the registration deadline currently is December 10th. Thank you.
That's it. I think.
Are there any other public comments? Anyone out in the public want to make a comment about anything? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Mr. Jones, resolution 21-86.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, before you is resolution 21-86. As you know, from time to time, council makes appointments to various boards and commissions that serve the community in various capacities. We had a request and an application from Al Zone, who is representing the Chamber of Commerce, the Norristown Chamber of Commerce, also serves as CEO of the Elmore Park Zoo. asking for council's consideration for appointment to the Keep Norristown Beautiful board. This term would expire December 31st, 2020.
Council, any questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have a motion to pass resolution 21-86 to appoint Al Zone to Keep Norristown Beautiful, term expiring December 31st, 2023?
Motion.
Second.
Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Valerie Moman.
Aye.
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Sonia Sanders.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye.
Derek Perry.
Aye. The ayes have it. Resolution 21-86 passes. Chief O'Donnell.
Mr. President, you have several awards this evening for members of the fire department. I'm not sure how you want to.
However you want to do it. I'll read it up here. On September 1st, 2021, the remnants of Hurricane Ida moved into Montgomery County, dumping over 8 inches of rain in the area, causing historic flooding in Norristown. Over the course of 24 hours, the Norristown Fire Department responded to more than 42 calls for service, including 20 responses for water-related rescues. And the Norristown Fire Department's response to these calls for service was strong and competent. In addition to the daily staffing of 2 career units, the fire department staffed 2 other units during the hurricane, including Rescue 27, which was staffed by firefighters from the Fairmont Engine Company. And throughout the storm, the above-mentioned firefighters from Rescue 27 responded to a wide variety of calls for help. Rescue 27's firefighters evacuated residents from dwellings, rescued a person from his vehicle, which was stuck in raising floodwaters, and responded to several other non-water emergencies. And during the storm, and through all these incidents, the above-mentioned firefighters performed professionally, effectively, and with compassion. The firefighters worked both individually and as a team without consideration for their own personal needs to serve the public. And be it resolved that on this date, December 7th, 2021, Captain Zachary Santiago, firefighter Richard Jones, firefighter Gregory Scott, and firefighter Andrew Story be recognized with the Norristown Fire Department's unit citation for their collective efforts in performing as a team in an outstanding and superior manner. Their collective effort is in keeping with the highest traditions of the fire service and reflects great credit upon themselves and the Norristown Fire Department. I'm taller than you, yeah. Taller than you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. We're representing some heroes here, and that's the biggest thing here when we're doing this. On September 1st, 2021, the remnants of Hurricane Ida moved into Montgomery County, dumping over 8 inches of rain in the area, causing historic flooding in Norristown. At 800 hours on that day, firefighters of the Norristown Fire Department began their 24-hour shift. And during the 24-hour shift, the Norristown Fire Department responded to over 42 calls for service, with 20 of those responses being from water-related rescues. The above-mentioned firefighters responded throughout the evening and night, working nonstop without rest. And many of their responses were difficult and high-stress incidents and performed in extreme weather. The above-mentioned firefighters rescued people from flooded vehicles and evacuated countless people from their flooded homes. And during the shift and through all these incidents, the above-mentioned firefighters performed professionally, effectively, and with compassion. The firefighters worked both individually and as a team without consideration for their own personal needs to serve the public. And be it resolved that on this date, December 7th, 2021, Assistant John Remillard, Captain Barbito, Firefighter William Ebright, Firefighter Kevin Murphy, and Firefighter Ryan Conboy be recognized with the Norristown Fire Department's unit citation for their collective efforts in performing as a team in an outstanding and superior manner. Their collective efforts is in keeping with the highest traditions of the fire service and reflects great credit upon themselves and the Norristown Fire Department.
Thank you for your work and congratulations.
Once again, some more heroes. We appreciate you guys. On September 1st, 2021, the remnants of Hurricane Ida moved into Montgomery County, dumping over 8 inches of rain in the area, causing historic flooding in Norristown and Montgomery County. And prior to the start of the storm, the Norristown Fire Department stood up a water rescue team staffed with the above-mentioned members dedicated solely for response to water rescue incidents. Over the next 24 hours, the team responded to dozens of emergencies in Norristown and the surrounding areas, and due to the direct action of the water rescue team, several lives were saved and countless others were removed from harm. And throughout the storm and responses, the above-mentioned members performed professionally and effectively in extremely stressful and complex incidents. The members worked both individually and as a team to serve people in need, and be it resolved that on this day, December 7th, 2021, Assistant Chief David Hicks, Firefighter Robert Spitko, Firefighter Anthony Mulchenny, Firefighter Charles Scott, Firefighter Ryan Hunsicker, and Firefighter Ryan O'Donnell be awarded the Norristown Fire Department's unit citation for their high degree of determination, for their commitment to the mission of the Norristown Fire Department, and for their courage and professionalism. Their collective efforts are in keeping with the highest traditions of the fire service and reflect great credit upon themselves and the Norristown Fire Department. These guys
recognize our individual heroes that we're going to honor now. On September 1st, 2021, the remnants of Hurricane Ida moved on into Montgomery County, dumping over 8 inches of water in the area, causing historic flooding in Norristown and Montgomery County. And the Schuylkill River flooded the Riverside Apartments on Schuylkill Avenue. Over 10 feet of water. Access to the complex was cut off on dry land by over 1,000 feet of swift moving water. And early in the morning on September 2nd, Norristown Fire Department responded to calls for help from several occupants of the Riverside Apartments who were trapped and in need of immediate rescue. And firefighter Charles Scott, as part of a water rescue team, traveled by boat to the complex where they found a paralyzed resident trapped in the 3rd floor. An intricate rescue plan was developed to remove the victim from his bed, carry him through the flooding building to the boat, and then transfer him through the swift currents to the safety of dry land. The firefighter Charles Scott's assignment required him to climb an exterior scaffolding to enter the building. Inside, Scott played a pivotal role in securing the resident into a Stokes basket and physically carrying the resident through the flooded building to the boat. While in the boat, Scott interacted with the resident to assure his safety and keep him calm. Be it resolved that this date, December 7, 2021, firefighter Charles Scott be awarded the Norristown Fire Department's Medal of Merit for his high degree of determination, for his commitment to the mission of the Norristown Fire Department, and for his professionalism. Firefighter Scott's actions saved a life, which reflect great credit upon himself, his fellow team members, and the Norristown Fire Department. September 1st, 2021, the remnants of Hurricane Ida moved into Montgomery County, dumping over 8 inches of water in the area, causing historic flooding in Norristown and Montgomery County. And the Schuylkill River flooded the Riverside Apartments on Schuylkill Avenue with over 10 feet of water. Access to the complex was cut off from dry land by over 1,000 feet of swift-moving water. And early in the morning of September 2nd, Norristown Fire Department responded to calls to help several occupants of the Riverside Apartments who were trapped in need of immediate rescue. The firefighter Ryan Hunsicker, as part of the water rescue team, operated the boat and was required to navigate swift-moving water and submerged hazards as they transported victims from their apartments to safety. Several trips were made to evacuate the occupants. The most difficult operation required Hunsicker to maneuver the boat up a scaffolding and remain stationary while other team members entered the building to remove the paralyzed occupant. Be it resolved that on this date, December 7, 2021, firefighter Ryan Hunsicker be awarded the Norristown Fire Department's Medal of Merit for his high degree of skills, for his commitment to the mission of the Norristown Fire Department, and for his professionalism. Firefighter Hunsicker actions help save lives, which reflect great credit upon himself, his fellow team members, and the Norristown Fire Department. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
On September 1st, 2021, the remnants of Hurricane Ida moved into Montgomery County, dumping over 8 inches of water in the area, causing historic flooding in Norristown. Throughout the day, the Schuylkill River overflowed its banks and flooded streets, homes and businesses in the lower portions of the community. And at 2224 hours that evening, firefighter Ryan Conboy and his platoon members responded to the 300 block of East Washington Street, where a man was trapped in his flooded vehicle 600 feet from dry land. He was standing on his car roof in clear distress and in need of immediate rescue. And the man's vehicle was located along the Norristown Municipal Waste Treatment Plant, which was completely inundated. The raw sewage and untreated wastewater was flowing onto East Washington Street, where the man was trapped. And learning that a rescue boats team response would be delayed, and recognizing that the victim would not be able to hold on much longer, firefighter Ryan Conboy and his partner Kevin Murphy immediately donned their water rescue equipment and entered the highly contaminated waters at 4th Street. Working together to fight the current, they traveled 600 feet down East Washington Street and shoulder deep water to the victim. Once with the victim, they secured a flotation device onto him and remained with him until the arrival of the rescue boat. Be it resolved that on this day, December 7, 2021, firefighter Ryan Conboy be awarded the Norristown Fire Department's Medal of Merit for exhibiting a high degree of resolve and fortitude for his commitment to the mission of the Norristown Fire Department and for his professionalism. Firefighter Conboy's actions helped save a life, which reflects great credit upon himself, his fellow team members, and the Norristown Fire Department. On September 1st, 2021, the remnants of Hurricane Ida moved into Montgomery County, dumping over 8 inches of water in the area, causing historic flooding in Norristown. Throughout the day, the Schuylkill River overflowed its banks and flooded streets, homes, and businesses in the lower portions of the community. At 2224 hours that evening, firefighter Kevin Murphy and his platoon members responded to the 300 block of East Washington Street, where a man was trapped in his flooded vehicle 600 feet from dry land. He was standing on his car's roof in clear distress and in need of immediate rescue. The man's vehicle was located alongside the Norristown Municipal Waste Treatment Plant, which was completely inundated. The raw sewage and untreated wastewater was flowing onto East Washington Street, where the man was trapped. And learning that a rescue boats team response would be delayed, and recognizing that the victim would not be able to hold on much longer, firefighter Kevin Murphy and his partner Ryan Conboy immediately donned their water rescue equipment and entered the highly contaminated waters at 4th Street. Working together to fight the current, they traveled 600 feet down East Washington Street and shoulder deep water to the victim. Once with the victim, they secured a flotation device onto him and remained with him until the arrival of the rescue boat. We are resolved that on this date, December 7th, 2021, firefighter Kevin Murphy be awarded the Norristown Fire Department's Medal of Merit for exhibiting a high degree of resolve and fortitude for his commitment to the mission of the Norristown Fire Department and for his professionalism. Firefighter Murphy's actions helped save a life, which reflects great credit upon himself, his fellow team members, and the Norristown Fire Department.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
On September 1st, 2021, the remnants of Hurricane Ida moved into Montgomery County, dumping over 8 inches of rain in the area, causing historic recorded flooding in Norristown and Montgomery County. Throughout the storm, hundreds of water rescues occurred in Montgomery County. And just before 10 p.m. during the night of the storm, Norristown firefighter Robert Spitko, as part of the Norristown Fire Department's swift water team, responded to Whitpain Township to assist with one of the water rescues. Upon arrival, members of the swift water team found that a man was hanging onto a tree in the area that was overtaken by the raging waters of the Wissahickon Creek. And rapidly, a rescue plan was developed, which included a rope system team staffed by members of Gladwin Fire Company and a boat entry team staffed by the Norristown firefighters. With Gladwin firefighters managing the rope system, the Norristown boat crew entered the swift water and maneuvered downstream until their progress was stopped by a line of trees. And realizing that the victim was still out of reach, firefighter Robert Spitko guided the boat to a tree and used the rope to steady the boat against the raging current. While Spitko held the boat still, firefighters Anthony Malkachi and Brian O'Donnell entered the waters and swam to the injured victim, who was moments away from being swept away. Malkachi and O'Donnell placed a flotation device on the victim and swam back to him safety of the boat. Firefighter Spitko then released the boat from the tree and piloted it back to dry ground. Without a doubt, the direct and immediate actions of firefighter Robert Spitko, Malkachi, and O'Donnell saved the victim's life. Be it resolved that on this date, December 7, 2021, Norristown firefighter Robert Spitko be awarded the Norristown Fire Department's Medal of Valor for his actions at this incident. His willingness to place himself at extreme risk undoubtedly saved the life of another human being. Firefighter Robert Spitko's courage and determination reflects great credit upon himself and the Norristown Fire Department.
Again? Thank you.
On September 1st, 2021, the remnants of Hurricane Ida moved into Montgomery County, dumping over 8 inches of rain in the area, causing historic flooding in Norristown and Montgomery County. Throughout the storm, hundreds of water rescues occurred in Montgomery County, and just before 10 p.m. during the night of the storm, Norristown firefighter Ryan O'Donnell, as part of the Norristown Fire Department's swift water team, responded to Whitpain Tavern to assist with one of the water rescues. Upon arrival, members of the swift water team found that a man was hanging onto a tree in an area that was overtaken by the raging waters of the Wissahickon Creek. And rapidly, a rescue plan was developed, which included a rope system team staffed by members of Gladwin Fire Company and a boat entry team staffed by the Norristown firefighters. With Gladwin firefighters managing the rope system, the Norristown boat crew entered the swift water and maneuvered downstream until the progress was stopped by a line of trees. And realizing that the victim was still out of reach, firefighter O'Donnell, along with firefighter Anthony Malkachi, entered the raging waters and swam to the victim, who was injured and moments away from being swept away. O'Donnell and Malkachi placed a flotation device on the victim and swam him back to safety of the boat. The boat was then pulled back to dry ground. Without a doubt, the direct immediate actions of firefighters O'Donnell and Malkachi saved the victim's life. Be it resolved that on this day, December 7th, 2021, Norristown firefighters Ryan O'Donnell be awarded the Norristown Fire Department's Medal of Valor for his actions at this incident. His willingness to place himself at extreme risk undoubtedly saved the life of another human being. Firefighter Ryan O'Donnell's courage and determination reflects great credit upon himself and the Norristown Fire Department. I had to apologize. I've been crucifying his name all night. And his name is Mulchaney, not Malkin. But you know what I meant, right? On September 1st, 2021, the remnants of Hurricane Ida moved into Montgomery County, dumping over 8 inches of rain in the area, causing historic flooding in Norristown and in Montgomery County. Throughout the storms, hundreds of water rescues occurred in Montgomery County. And just before 10 p.m., during the night of the storm, Norristown firefighter Anthony Mulchaney, as part of the Norristown Fire Department's swift water team, responded to Whitpain Township to assist with one of the water rescues. Upon arrival, members of the swift team found that the man was hanging into a tree in an area that was overtaken by the raging waters of the Wissahickon Creek. And rapidly, a rescue plan was developed, which included a rope system team staffed by members of Gladwin Fire Company and a boat entry team staffed by the Norristown firefighters. With Gladwin firefighters managing the rope system, the Norristown boat crew entered the swift water and maneuvered downstream until their progress was stopped by a line of trees. And realizing that the victim was still out of reach, firefighter Mulchaney, along with firefighter Ryan O'Donnell, entered the raging water and swam to the victim, who was injured and moments away from being swept away. Mulchaney and O'Donnell placed a flotation device on the victim and swam him back to safety on the boat. The boat was then pulled back to dry ground. Without a doubt, the direct and immediate actions of firefighters Mulchaney and O'Donnell saved the victim's life. Be it resolved that on this day, December 7th, 2021, Norristown firefighter Anthony Mulchaney be awarded the Norristown Fire Department's Medal of Valor for his actions at the incident. His willingness to place himself at extreme risk undoubtedly saved the life of another human being. Firefighter Anthony Mulchaney's courage and determination reflects great credit upon himself and the Norristown Fire Department.
She's gonna walk.
Thank you. Yes, again, we got to do both of them, man. Congratulations. Thank you. Appreciate it. Congratulations. Proud too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Perry.
Chief.
The awards today, so I'm ready to move on to the next.
Well, one thing I'll say on behalf of the council is we always appreciate our Norristown Fire Department for always doing an excellent job when it comes to putting themselves in danger. And it's not an easy job, but we salute you guys and applaud you, and we thank you guys. Chief O'Donnell, who's on resolution 21-87.
Yes, Mr. President, before you read this resolution number 2187, the resolution needed approval to appoint new firefighter Robert Peterson to a vacant position in the Norristown Fire Department.
Council, any questions or comments?
Motion. Second.
Okay, well, I'll say it first and then we can motion. Can we have a motion to pass resolution 21-87?
Motion.
Second.
Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Valerie Noman,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Aye.
Sonia Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith,
Aye.
Thomas LaPara,
Aye.
Larry Curry.
Aye, the ayes have it, resolution passes. I, Robert Peterson,
I, Robert Peterson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey,
obey,
and defend the Constitution of the United States of America,
and defend the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Charter of the Municipality of Norristown,
the Charter of the Municipality of Norristown,
and the laws of Pennsylvania and the Municipality of Norristown.
and the laws of Pennsylvania and the Municipality of Norristown.
I will discharge the duties of my office as a firefighter
I will discharge the duties of my office as a firefighter
for the Municipality of Norristown Fire Department
for the Municipality of Norristown Fire Department
with honor and fidelity.
with honor and fidelity.
I will uphold,
I will uphold,
obey,
obey,
and enforce the laws of Pennsylvania and the Municipality of Norristown
and enforce the laws of Pennsylvania and the Municipality of Norristown
without considerations to a person's race,
without consideration to a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
natural origin,
national origin,
ancestry,
ancestry,
handicap,
handicap,
or disability.
or disability.
Welcome to Norristown. Keep those on. Thank you. Have a good night.
See you. Take care.
Thank you.
Safe out there.
That's not. Okay, next up, we have Chief Dillon. Resolution 21-89, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, before you is resolution number 2189. It's for your approval for the Norristown Police Department to participate in Montgomery County Police Chiefs Mutual Aid Plan. The Mutual Aid Plan was started, I think, in 1992. We've been a member of it since its inception. It, for lack of a better word, allows all the police departments in Montgomery County to come together when we have major incidents or something in which we need a lot of staffing for that each individual department may not be able to do. As of, for instance, when the DNC came, the RNC came, Pope visited, more recently, the Cosby trial that we had in Norristown, and also the 2020 protests. So this gives us the ability to bring in outside help if we need it, and vice versa.
Council, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion to pass resolution 21-89 for council to approve the Norristown Police Department's participation in Montgomery County Police Chiefs Mutual Aid Plan?
Motion.
Second.
Madam Secretary, can I have roll call, please?
Valerie Noman,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Aye.
Sonia Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith,
Aye.
Thomas LaPara,
Aye.
Larry Curry.
Aye, the ayes have it, resolution 21-89 passes. Fran?
Ms. Kathy?
Amanda,
Oh,
deputy is deputy.
there you go.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm submitting for your approval, resolution number 21-88, Malley LLP Audit Service Contract. Malley has been our financial auditor since 2014. Malley was also helpful to us when we applied for and obtained the GFOA Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 2018 and 2019 audit years. Due to the long, successful relationship and the planned redesign of our reporting structure, we would like to retain Malley as our independent auditor for the next 3 years. The options are approve resolution 2188, do not approve, or table the discussion. Our recommended action is approve resolution number 2188, retaining Malley LLP as our auditor for the next 3 years.
Council, any questions or comments? Councilwoman Lewis.
I'm just curious, I didn't see, or get a chance to look at the package. Is there a fee change for their contract, has it increased at all?
As far as I'm aware, no. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Council, any questions or comments? I have one question, and the question is, can you let everyone know what a GFO award is?
Lisa, would you like to?
GFOA is the Government Financial Officers Association. They have 2 awards. The one Bailey helps us with, it used to be called the CAFR, but it's based off of our audited statements. We get an award for our reporting, and Bailey helps us do that. We received the award 2 years in a row.
Any other questions or comments? Can we have a motion to pass resolution 21-88, which is a 3-year professional audit service agreement with Malley LLP?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Valerie Newman.
Aye.
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Sonia Sanders.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye.
Derek Curry.
Aye. The ayes have it. Resolution 21-88 passes.
Thank you. Move to the next one. I'm submitting for your approval, resolution number 2182, adopting the 2022 through 2026 capital improvement plan, which was submitted for discussion at the last meeting. We have one change to the schedule from the last meeting. Due to rising costs and production delays, the fire engine was moved earlier to 2022 instead of 2023. The 2022 through 2026 CIP is estimated at $41,885,987 and consists of 59 separately identifiable projects spread over 6 departments. The projects are funded through a number of sources, including general obligation bond proceeds, grants, and the bank debt. We are recommending approval for the resolution number 21-82, adopting the 2022 through 2026 capital improvement plan.
Council, any questions or comments? Councilman Jones.
Yeah, thank you. A lot's happened in the past few years. Will there be a time when staff kind of updates us on where we stand with the capital improvement, what we've spent, and what we look forward to hopefully addressing, just for both us as a staff and the public, because we did a great job of getting things out to the community. So much has happened, so just wondering if we can do that at some point.
Sure.
So we're directing staff annually to update us in regards to the capital improvement plan from now until 2026. We appreciate you guys.
Okay.
We actually will be doing it even more frequently. Certainly as items move forward, we'll be bringing that to council. This plan is an approval for what the items are, but once we actually go into the procurement process, you're gonna have to approve each one of those acquisitions. And just for the record, we moved the fire truck up because of supply issues, and it's gonna take about a year to actually build it because of supply issues. So once we start the process in 2022, the truck won't be ready until 2023, and we won't have to pay for it to 2023, but we'll have to put it on the books in 2022.
Council, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have a motion to adopt the 2022 to 2026 capital improvement plan in compliance with section 4-21A2 of the administrative code, which requires a capital plan for the next 5 or more fiscal years, which shall contain as a minimum all proposed capital improvements identified by project, the year of acquisition or construction, proposed funding, and the impact upon the operating expenses, debt structure, and borrowing limitations of the municipality.
Second.
Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Valerie Moman.
Aye.
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Sonia Sanders.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Thomas LaPara.
Aye.
Terry Curry.
Aye. The ayes have it. Resolution 21-82 passes.
Thank you, council members.
Mr. Singh, 21-16, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, before you is a request to approve ordinance 21-16 to amend Chapter 241, Property Transfer and Sewer Lateral Inspection Requirements of the Municipal Code. Council, this ordinance is to help simplify and help facilitate the property transfer inspection process for newly constructed residential buildings. As you may recall from the previous council meetings, the reason why we would like to have this ordinance in place is to exclude and exempt newly constructed residential buildings. Currently, when a newly constructed residential building is changing hands, not only does it go through the inspection process under the Uniform Construction Code, then we also have to come back once the property is getting ready to change hands to perform a property transfer inspection. And a lot of times the inspection is redundant. Once the building is constructed, it generally changes hands within 90 days of it being constructed and a certificate of occupancy being issued. So this is just to help streamline the process. There's obviously a lot of new development in the pipeline, and we just want to make sure that we can help facilitate the process and make it easier for property owners to take ownership of their new home and make it easier for them to move into their home and welcome them to Norristown. So that's the request before you tonight, council. This ordinance was properly advertised as required by law, and tonight we are requesting approval. Thank you.
Council, any questions or comments? One question in regards to the meeting before this one, in regards to this. Did anyone come to that meeting?
So during that meeting, we did have the CEO of the Suburban Realtors Alliance present, and there was also leadership from the Pennsylvania Apartments Association. However, they were there to speak on other matters during the meeting, and particularly the lead ordinance, but they had no questions or concerns regarding this amendment.
Council, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have a motion to request council to approve ordinance 21-16 to amend chapter 241, property transfer and sewer lateral inspections of the municipal code?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, can we have roll call?
Valerie Moman.
Aye.
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Sonia Sanders.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Thomas LaPara.
Aye.
Terry Curry.
Aye, the ayes have it. Ordinance 21-16 passes. Mr. Singh, the Historical Architectural Review Board.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, before you is a request to approve or deny the Historical Architectural Review Board applications, which were received, reviewed, and recommended for approval by HARB for the November 2021 applications. As you're aware, Norristown HARB receives applications on a monthly basis for exterior repairs and renovations. for properties located in Norristown's HARB historical districts. Those applications are reviewed by the HARB members to confirm that the repair or renovation work is in compliance with our municipal ordinance. The HARB board has reviewed the application and have approved, either as submitted or modified, as mentioned on the certificate of appropriateness for the following property, 525 George Street. That was the only application that the HARB board reviewed that night. So we are requesting that this application be approved. Thank you.
Council, any questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have a motion to approve the Historical Architectural Review Board applications received, reviewed, and recommended for approval by the HARB for November 2021?
Motion.
Second.
Madam Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Valerie Moman.
Aye.
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Sonia Sanders.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Thomas LaParra.
Aye.
Derek Perry.
Aye, the ayes have it. Mr. Jones, can you lead us in the MOA?
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, actually the next two items are linked, and I'll talk about it together so I can vote on them separately. The first item is a memorandum of agreement between the municipality of Norristown and Lodge 31 of the Fraternal Order of Police. 2021 was supposed to be the year that we would enter into labor negotiations with the police. Their contract expired at the end of this year. We had a mutual agreement with the FOP that we would delay that negotiation until after the new police chief had come on board so that he could have input in the negotiations as well, and they readily agreed to it. FOP readily agreed to it, and so this memorandum of agreement essentially extends the existing agreement for another year with a proposed and agreed upon wage increase of 2.85% for the police department, and would take us from essentially beginning January 1st of 2022 to December 31st of 2023, but it would mirror with the exception of that time period, with the exception of the wage increase, what the old agreement mirrors, or the existing agreement mirrors in terms of benefits. Subsequently, because of the policy in Norristown, an agreement between the firefighters and the municipality is that the firefighters' contract is negotiated the year after the police department's contract is negotiated. And so that we would not be in two negotiations simultaneously, and a large part of the firefighters' negotiation is incumbent upon the outcome of the police department's negotiation, we subsequently talked to the IAFF as well about their having an MOA to extend them for another year, beginning in January 2023, as that they would typically be doing it in 2022. They agreed as well. And so what we have before you is these two contract extensions. They would also have the same 2.85% wage increase for that year, which would be the last year of the agreement with the firefighters as well. So with that, we're asking council's approval to do this. As you know, the police chief should be sworn in a couple of weeks, and then we would begin the negotiation of continue our labor negotiations beginning in 2022.
Council, any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll do it separately. Can we have a motion to pass the municipality of Norristown and Lodge 31 of the Fraternal Order of Police, the agreement between the municipality and the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 31 to extend the current collective bargaining agreement covering the period January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, can we have a roll call, please?
Valerie Newman,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Aye.
Sonia Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith,
Aye.
Thomas LaPera,
Aye.
Derek Perry.
Aye, the ayes have it, motion passes. Can we have a motion to request council to ratify a memorandum of agreement between the municipality of Norristown and Local 2335 of an International Association of Firefighters to extend the current collective bargaining agreement covering the period January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023.
Motion.
Second. Madam Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Valerie Newman,
Aye.
Hakeem Jones,
Aye.
Sonia Sanders,
Aye.
Heather Lewis,
Aye.
Rebecca Smith,
Aye.
Thomas LaPera,
Aye.
Derek Perry.
Aye, the ayes have it, motion passes. Mr. Jones, the review for Monco Tax Claim Bureau?
Thank you, Mr. President. So council, you have before you, we submitted you information related to 9 Montgomery County Tax Claim Bureau repository tax sale applications, which the council has the right to approve or deny the bids on these properties. Just a quick piece of history, that the parcels in the repository have been previously made available for sale to the general public for delinquent taxes, but were not sold. All of the parcels in the repository are available for purchase with bids starting at $500 and are sold free and clear of all taxes and liens. Like all real estate transaction, purchasing property from the repository should not be entered into without due diligence, and it's advisable that to contact an attorney and research the prior title to the title prior to acquiring any property in the repository sale. All sales are conducted in accordance with real estate tax law by the County Tax Claim Bureau, and all sales are sold without guarantee or without warranty. The facts and issues related to the parcels, 9 parcels, are properties that are enclosed for 310 Basin Street, 324 Moore Street, 624 East Basin Street, 355 Moore Street, 534 Norris Street, 301 Marshall Street, and 900 Jackson Street. They are all vacant lots, and these lots are currently abandoned and not maintained. If a responsible person or firm purchased any of these lots, it would be beneficial as they would maintain the lots and eventually develop them. We were unable to find any previous issues with the proposed purchases of these properties. As it relates to 207 Chain Street, this property has been on the municipality's radar for quite some time, as there are many ongoing issues, and we've been trying to get the property into compliance as it is in disrepair and is possibly damaging the attached properties as well. If a responsible person or firm purchases this property, it would be beneficial as they would repair the property and continue to maintain it, it is hoped. We also were not able to find any previous issues with the proposed purchaser of this property. As it relates to 1107 West Airy, this property was also a high notice property on our radar for a time, and there are many ongoing issues with this property as it is currently in a state of collapse. We tried to demolish the property, but we're not successful as no contractor submitted any bids when we bid this thing. I think we bid it twice and we got no bids on the property. And again, if a responsible person or firm purchases the property, it would be beneficial as they would be responsible for demolishing and or repairing the property and continue to maintain it. We have no issues with this bidder either. However, we were not able to determine if this is a responsible bidder. The county tax office officials have concerns about the bidder as they have bid on numerous property in Montgomery County in the past. One of the things that, and I'll ask the solicitor to step in a moment and clarify if you have any questions, but one of the things about these sales is that, for instance, if the property sold at $500, the new assessed value on the property, even if it was, say, $80,000, becomes $500. So that definitely is not beneficial to the municipality. But the solicitor's office and our former finance director, Norm, gosh, why can't I remember Norm's last name? Norm Butts. Jet lag. But Norm Butts, and the solicitor's office actually have worked on an agreement of sale that they have proposed we could use in selling to a repository sale agreement whereby if the council would agree to sell the property, that the purchaser would agree also that the value of the property remains at the assessed value before the purchase. And I know in talking with the solicitor's office, that might be challenged, but as council has a right to make determination as to whether or not you want to sell it. I think both the solicitor and finance director and former finance director thought certainly it was worth it if you decided to get rid of the properties that we asked for this agreement. So you can add in your line.
No, you're correct, Randall. We do have those agreements prepared, and then we could ask that as a condition of agreeing to the sale, and that would be kind of our recommendation for that. These are, this is just going through the legal process. The county treasurer's office, tax claim bureau, just let us know multiple chances for a sale, and this is kind of, they have to get their permission of the municipality to move forward. So.
Council, any questions or comments? Councilman Jones.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, when it comes to bidding for these properties, what incentive, or are you aware of what the person is planning to do with them, or do you have any idea of what intentions are?
No, they basically fill out an application with the county to say we're interested in purchasing this property. This is our bid on the property. So there's no requirement that they say that they're going to do anything.
Council, any other questions? Councilwoman Bowman.
So, let's say that someone purchases the property and it's in a residential neighborhood, and Jane, this might be for you. Is there a way that we can, after the, whatever you call it, agreement of sale, is there a way that we would have a red flag, let's say, if they were trying to, change it over to, rental or what have you? Because more than likely, in my opinion, that's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Maybe not all of them, but I would think that's a very high possibility.
Oh, absolutely. And we work closely, that's the coast department and the planning department, we work very closely with the same system. And right now, as it stands, we flag a lot of properties that we know we have to watch out for change of zoning. We immediately alert it. And finance won't take any fees, and code will let us know you need to go to planning to get your zoning straight. Okay. So we do have a system in place.
Okay. One other question. With the landlords that are kind of taking over Norristown today, would there be any type of red flag if they were to try to purchase one of these properties? And not that we could stop them, but would that put up a red flag so that we can really?
Yeah, you got the Act 90.
Yeah, so Act 90, and then there's actually a new act, Act 33, that actually allows us to work more closer, and Mr. Calcanny would be able to share more details, but it allows us to work more closer with our county partners. And we're actually in the process of working with the county to establish, hopefully, a certificate of good standing for bidders to actually obtain from us prior to being able to register as a bidder with the county. So we'll actually vet them, we'll make sure that they don't have any open zoning issues, they don't owe money to finance, they don't have open code violations, and that they're actually going to be a responsible property owner. So that's something we're currently working with Mr. Jones, Mr. Calcanny, and all of us, and we're hoping to get that established. That way for the sales that are gonna occur in 2022, there'll be more tie-ins, and we'll be able to vet everybody before they actually even submit an application to bid on a property.
Okay, thanks.
Council, any other comments? I got a question. And the only problem I probably have with this whole thing is someone buying the property and then it's staying the same way that it already was before. How can we put stipulations in our agreement, if we can, or can we put stipulations in our agreement that basically states you have a certain amount of time to do X, Y, and Z to bring it up to code? Could we?
My guess is no. I mean, I guess we could ask, but this is really just, they trying to market the property. This is a free and clear sale. I've never heard of that, but we could ask. We can come back to council and ask.
Because
I'm 99% sure the answer is going to be no.
yeah, because what we're doing is, okay, let's just say possibly we get out-of-towners, which we always do, right?
You see the addresses.
Right. Now you get the out-of-towners and now all of a sudden they just sit on the property, but it's already been sitting there in the neighborhood, already looking.
There's no guarantee that won't happen again.
Mr. President, if I may, one of the benefits of actually allowing these properties to change hands, for example, some of these properties, the property owner is actually deceased, or they actually are out of state and we have not been able to get any compliance out of them. By this property actually changing hands, we are hopeful that the new person will be responsible, will actually, for example, the property where the property owner is currently deceased, the property owner record, when that property changes hands, we will be able to start communicating with the new property owner and getting them into compliance and working with them. It may take some time, just like when a property changes hands in a normal situation, the new buyer has up to a year as required by state law to make all of the repairs to the property. So we'll have to give them at least a minimum of a year, but we can also follow with citations and other non-compliance tactics to try to encourage compliance with municipal codes. But that is one of the biggest benefits of allowing these properties to change hands is right now nothing's going to happen with these properties because the owners are MIA or they're deceased.
With the vetting process that you currently have right now, is that vetting process only in Pennsylvania, or is it for all of the United States of where they live at and if they own any properties anywhere else?
So currently, let me just clarify. Under Act 33, which just passed, I believe, this year, so that is a new tool that we have to pretty much work with the county to be able to vet bidders for future sales. So the vetting that we would do, we would actually look at our municipal records to make sure that they don't owe any money to finance, any, trash dues or taxes unpaid on any property that they have in their name or under entity that they may own. And then obviously we'll check zoning and building records. We do have access, for example, let's say if somebody's office address is a Philadelphia address, Philadelphia does have a majority of their information online, so we can see if, hey, do they have any open code issues in Philly that we may be able to find. So to a certain extent, yes, we can look to see if there are any code violations in other jurisdictions, but primarily we're going to do a search in Pennsylvania, unless they are coming from New York or one of the surrounding states. We'll try to do our due diligence, but there's no way to fully know if they're in compliance in their home state or not. But we will try to vet them as good as we can to make sure that they are a responsible bidder.
Council, any other questions or comments?
And I'll just add, one of the things, as I stated, in one of these properties, we did try to demolish it and we couldn't get any bids, but that was one of the reasons, one, now that we've gotten a grant from the state, and two, part of what we're trying to do with part of the relief funds we got, the 20 million, is to actually
make it $1 million bid for all of the properties, or at least the majority of the properties as one bid, and hopefully we'll be able to get them into the blight process and bid and attract contractors to demolish any properties that are unsafe or abandoned.
Council, any other questions or comments?
Seeing none, can we have a motion for council to pass the review, Monco tax, claim bureau, repository, tax sale applications, and approve the bids?
Second.
Madam Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Valerie Newman. Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Sonia Sanders.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye.
Derek Curry.
Aye. The ayes have it. Motion passes. Chief Dillon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of council, I'd like to present my November report for the police department. I think it might be because this will probably be the police department's last of this year, so I'll try to keep it in a overall year-to-date from last year, and I'll try to be brief. Our 2021 goals and objectives were ambitious. We knew going into 2021 that nationally violent crime was on an uprise, domestic violence situations were on an uprise, property crimes were rising. The trends across the nation were rising on all these. So our first objective was to reduce the number of Part 1 crimes from below 200 or 623. That would be the lowest number we have on record that we can find, dating back to early 2000s. That was ambitious, but to date we're at 213 Part 1 crimes, so we still have a reduction overall. Specifically, we wanted to reduce the Wolfpack robberies that we've been plagued with over the years, and street robberies, and we've reduced them this year by 26%. So going from last year, it was a reduction. We reduced in robberies last year as well. So at least we have that. Theft from auto and auto thefts, we're probably going to be double where we were last year. And the only reason I can come up with for that is 98% of all our cars that are stolen in Norristown are running at the time that they were stolen. Keys are in, they're running in front of a convenience store, in front of someone's house. Someone runs inside, they leave it double parked in the street while it's running. They're just taken. We recover most, if not all of our cars. Most of them are either in Norristown or in Philadelphia when we recover them. We don't have any rings that are stealing these cars. We have probably 8 to 10 people that we have focused on that have committed different patterns. Recently, we've got a pattern stealing cars at the Wawa in Plymouth, the new Wawa, and they end up in Norristown. We recover them within a 2-block area when they're stolen. So we've attributed certain patterns to certain people, 2 of which we arrested the other day who were involved in a crime spree that we had to look into. So at least 2 of them we've arrested. So our object number 2 was the current rate of fatal, non-fatal shootings to less than 10. Unfortunately, tonight at 7:50, we had our 13th non-fatal shooting over the 800 block of George Street. And we've had 4 homicides this year by gunfire. We are at where we were last year on homicides. At this point, last year, November was our hardest month for homicides. So we're even at that point. In looking at all of these shootings, we have an issue with Philadelphia people who are intermingling now with people in Norristown. We've had a number of people who moved to Norristown from Philadelphia to try to get, the families brought them here to try to get away from the violence, and it seems like it's followed with them. I don't believe tonight will be our last shooting. If history is anything, it probably will not be. Objective number 3 is to reduce serious offending related to the youth population measured by juvenile arrest rates in 2021 compared to 2020. At this point, we are at a 47% decrease year to date and arrest of juvenile offenders. We ambitiously worked to try and mitigate a lot of any of the juvenile activity that we did. We hired Ingrid, we got into homes, and we've pushed to get into the schools and try to mitigate the problems that we knew were arising. So we're pretty happy about that. Our object number 4 is to reduce repeated victimization and injuries associated with domestic violence. We knew this was going to be tough. But what I can say is we did reduce the number of repeat offenses against women domestically. While our numbers rose overall, the repeat offenders and things that we were focused on, trying to get social services and help victim services and everything to them, seemed to work. We reduced them by 15%. Our domestic violence is up 40-some%. We noticed that trend when we went into COVID, that the more time people spent together, the more problems came. A lot of mental health associated with COVID came out, a lot of alcohol use and abuse, drug abuse. So, there's a small window there. I'm pretty confident next year that'll start to drop as we move through next year. Object number 5 was reducing suffering among our homeless population, increase their capacity to care for themselves. We aggressively do outreach programs to the homeless. In November, we partnered, end of October, beginning of November, we partnered with SEPTA. They have a large contingent of homeless people who are living within the SEPTA parking garage or staying at the transportation center. Our biggest problem here in trying to help the homeless is that there is just no bed space available for them in Montgomery County. Even if we were able to get them placed, we had to get them placed outside of Pennsylvania. We sent a large contingent of people, I think 7, up to New York to a facility that helps with drug addiction and also homelessness. They were our population that was living underneath the temporary Markley Street Bridge. And that worked for 6 months until we started to see them come back into our homeless encampments. So if we had beds, I think we'd be more successful, but Montgomery County just doesn't have any beds. It's hard to place people. We have actively engaged with Credenza on a drug rehabilitation program. We take Credenza to them, and we can get them, we have a partnership with 3 clinics, I think, that, if we can get them in directly into a rehabilitation, they have beds, and we're successful with that. So that was what was part of our objective number 7 was reduce fatal and non-fatal opioid overdoses. Last year, we lost a lot of our opioid-dependent people, which reduced the number of people that we've had to outreach this year. Last year was tough on that. But we've been pretty successful with our program with Credenza. Also, one of our objectives was improve traffic safety around the town by measuring and trying to reduce crashes with either injury or non-injury. We have reduced injuries within traffic 53%, which I think is very good. Our number of non-injured crash has increased though. We're lucky to the point where we have almost a stop sign or a red light that controls almost every intersection in town. We only have about 4 or 5 roads that have a speed limit of 35 or greater and have open stretches where the injury gets sustained. Predominantly, our biggest problem is Main and Markley Street. People coming off the bridge, the DeKalb Street Bridge into town. The lighting is not good. High speeds coming across the bridge is a contributing factor. Overwhelmingly, that's our largest accident location. It has gotten worse for accidents since they started redoing the construction at the intersection. When 202 is revamped, they will be putting warning signs for traffic signals ahead on it and a Dan Howard Bridge. Also, what will help if the Lafayette Street corridor is connected. So, because the problem is that the bike path, the underpass that carries the bike path, blocks visual of you're coming around a curve and basically at a high speed, not realizing that there's going to be lanes of traffic that are backed up and you don't see that it's a red light. So they have guaranteed us they're going to put advanced warning lights when there is a red traffic light coming down off the bridge onto Market Street to the intersection there. That is all I have in reference to that. We have done pretty well this year. We're under budget so far, considering. And, I really don't have anything else that would probably be of interest to you. If you have any questions.
Council, any questions or comments? Councilwoman Lewis.
I do have a comment, and maybe just to put on the radar for 2022. I work with one of your chaplains, Javon Platts, very closely with the juveniles in Norristown. And she's a practitioner of restorative justice, restorative practices, and an advocate for the use of the youth aid panel, which, is underutilized as a resource that historically, not particularly the youth aid panel, but restorative practice, historically brings the community together and holds the youth accountable for their actions and ultimately turns their behavior around. So I'd like us to be able to explore that initiative, in particular with our juveniles going into 2022.
The District Attorney's Office hired Ms. Bell to be the new director of the Youth Aid Panel.
I'm familiar with that.
Quite frankly, we were more effective than the Youth Aid Panel was. The time frame in which the Youth Aid Panel could turn around what needed to be done, our juvenile detective could handle that much faster, and we could see what needed to be done, and we could move through that path. When Ms. Bell came in, the first thing she did was contact us and try to figure out why we were doing better than the Youth Aid Panel was. So once that occurred, we gave her a list of 10 things that we thought the Youth Aid Panel could use in lieu of what they were actually doing. A lot of what it was basically, it had to be a 3 strikes or more. Prior to that, 1 offense, misdemeanor or felony, then you were no longer allowed to go before a Youth Aid Panel. We didn't think that would be, there's always, Norristown kids are going to take more than one time to turn around, and there's no sense in denying them what they need if, it takes them more than one time. So a lot of also what they changed around was if they aren't, our people had trouble getting to the youth aid. Our people had trouble getting to where they're supposed to do because they had no transport or anything else. So she initiated the ability to go out and transport and get them to where they need to be to answer for what they need to answer. I know we had a lot of kids that were tied up in retail thefts over at the King of Prussia Mall, and we worked with the Upper Marion Police Department basically to be notified when that did occur so that we could follow our kids, even if it is with another police department, so we could follow our kids. So we, as the Youth Aid Panel gets back up and running, the way that Ms. Bell wants it to run, we have utilized it more, and we will continue to utilize it more. Any amount of resources or assistance we can get, from anywhere is good. We do a lot of our own restorative practices. We do a lot of mitigation before it even reaches it. In fact, Mark Talbot started where if we were going to arrest somebody, a juvenile, we had to justify it to him. So I continued that practice. It worked. It was a good idea just to make sure we had a couple steps where everyone's analyzing before we actually put someone into the system. Now, there are some kids that need to be into the system that the structure that the system brings actually may help them. But then we can work on the reduction of charges and things and what actually happens to them afterwards. We can go and advocate for them to go to a placement somewhere where they have structure and everything else as opposed to some kind of detention facility. So I get your point, and I certainly will, I will press upon Derek when he gets here what works, what doesn't work, and how we can contribute on or pause on through and keep going with it. Sure.
Councilman Jones.
Yeah, thanks for your report. Question is, since your last report was pretty extensive, have you had any improved communications with the school district on how we can improve our walking zones and some of the challenges we were having there? And I guess my second question is around homelessness. Are you finding a trend, or are you able to identify where folks may be coming from, or is it just something that internally people in Norristown are becoming homeless?
Okay, reference to the school district, yes, I sat down with Chris, the superintendent. We had a very good conversation about some of the things we were noticing that were occurring at the schools, what we were and were not being notified about. We went back over what their obligation is. And he's in agreement, and they have, 2 of our schools have been actively involved in getting to us and let us know what's going on prior to them actually taking some action that may be considered a problem. They've also stepped up in their mandatory reporting. There was a difference of opinion on what would be considered mandatory reporting among the school district and with the police department, and I think they understand what their obligation is now. In reference to the homelessness, there's a number of things that are important. One is we have a large number of our homeless that are drug addicted. They are not Norristown residents. They come here from outside of Norristown. We call a large portion of them up-county people. So, there's 2 areas in Montgomery County that can predominantly push drug sales, drug buys and things. Pottstown, Norristown. So depending on where you are within the county, we noticed an increase. We noticed people who aren't Norristown people, they're not our people, and we see them when they initially come into town, and then we start taking notice of them, and then we can track their spirals, and shortly thereafter they're at the hotels, they're living bed to bed, and then they're homeless. So the heroin or the opioid epidemic has increased our homelessness dramatically. COVID increased our homelessness dramatically. A lot of people lost their homes if they were teetering anyway. Mental health is a large driver. A number of these things are out of our control. As far as Norristown residents go, it's probably steady. The numbers are probably steady as to who's homeless and who's not, and we know most of them. The uptick, though, is out of Norristown people coming to Norristown for either, drugs, homelessness, or mental health. They may be associated with something within a mental health agency that they come closer, and then, like other illnesses, they stop taking medication. Their symptoms increase or get worse, and then now they're homeless. So we have a lot of, halfway houses that are, whatever we wish to call them. We have a number of halfway houses that are for residential living for drug addiction, also for mental health group residents. So,
Thank you.
Council, any other questions or comments? Thank you, sir. Rich, can you lead us?
All right. I'm going to stand in tonight, so if I miss anything, please just ask.
We wouldn't know.
One more time. So, Chief O'Donnell just asked me to go over the monthly statistics. So we had the month of November, we had 111 emergency dispatches calls for service, and that takes our yearly total up to 1,230. So that puts us. This is going to be a very busy year for us. Our average response time is 4 minutes and 3 seconds, and that's for the year also. Property loss for the month was $80,000, and for the year to date, it's $421,000. I can tell you annually that number is way down. Last year it was way down. This year is way down again, which is good. Busiest time frame, Monday at 12 o'clock, and the year to date was Thursday at noontime. It seems like we have a lot of calls right at lunchtime. We had 18 training events in November for a total of 469. We're way above our target. Training really is the crux of our job, keeping our people trained. There were no injuries to firefighters this month, 1 civilian injury, which was very minor, and no civilian casualties. We conducted 66 fire inspections for a total of 468. Even with COVID, we're above our target, which was 400. Public education projects, we completed 14 for a total of 168 this year. We installed 4 smoke detectors and 7 combination detectors, which are carbon monoxide and smoke detectors. So it's a total of 46 smoke detectors for this year and 58 combination detectors. The guys really go out and knock on a lot of doors every month. We're going back into neighborhoods that we've been to before. So a lot of folks, fortunately, already have them, which is really good to see. And that's my report. Anybody has any questions?
Council, any questions or comments? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And we have a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Nays? Code is on here?
We adjourn.
I'm sorry, Amrinder. I missed you. Come on. It's your role.
The good news is I actually didn't submit a monthly report this month, so I do apologize for that. We're in the process of getting ready to start enforcing all of these new ordinances that we've recently passed in the past few months here. So I don't have any stats prepared to share tonight, but I did want to take this opportunity, especially because it's going to be the last meeting of the year that we'll be able to do a codes report. Plus, the next meeting, I don't want to do that to you guys of having a whole bunch of stuff on the agenda for codes, since it is the last meeting of the year. But I did want to just quickly take this opportunity to, just say that due to, the leadership of Municipal Administrator Jones and all of council, we've been able to achieve a lot of great things at the codes department. Because of all of you guys, there have been major additions and updates to our municipal codes. 7 really big, including the one you all just passed tonight, 7 really big ordinances that are truly going to help protect the health, safety, and welfare of all of our residents and help protect their property values and help improve the quality of life. And of course, the majority of the ordinances are creating more regulations and building safety requirements and housing code requirements. But then, for example, the one tonight where you're kind of making exclusions and exemptions, same thing with the HARB. You guys are doing, you guys have really helped us with getting these ordinances passed, because it's going to continue to lead Norristown into the future, and you're really preparing us for that. And I just wanted to just quickly say that, because none of this would have been possible without all of your guys' support, all of the accomplishments and achievements we've been able to, perform at the codes department. So I just wanted to thank you all for that. And, with the council members that are leaving, Councilwoman Moman, Councilwoman Sanders, and Councilman Perry, I truly am sincerely going to miss working with you guys, all of the phone calls and the meetings that we have all the time. And I do look forward to continuing to work with all of council and all the new council members that are going to come. And I know we have a lot of great things we've been talking about getting accomplished for 2022 and beyond. So I do look forward to that. But I just wanted to quickly say thank you guys for everything you all have allowed us to accomplish, and all of these great ordinances to protect the health, safety, and welfare of all of our residents. Thank you.
I would like for you to share what you shared with me last week about Norristown being the forerunner in that.
So, like I said, seven major ordinances, right? In the middle of a pandemic in these last 2 years, we scaled down HARB, right? That was one of the major complaints we were getting from developers and property owners, owner-occupied and rentals. The property maintenance quick ticketing program, abandoned rural property, the new building safety, property maintenance and housing code, the contractor licensing update after 22 years, and then the latest one, the lead poisoning prevention and lead hazard control, the one that Councilwoman Moman is referring to. So this ordinance actually is being dubbed at a national level as the most protective lead paint ordinance in the entire country because of the requirements that you all passed and approved. And they're pretty much wanting to use this as a model ordinance across Pennsylvania and even the nation, specifically because of the requirement of requiring the lead safe and the lead free certification at the time a property is changing hands. Every ordinance out there does it for the rental properties and the daycare centers, which ours does as well. But the unique thing about our ordinance and a unique thing about Norristown is we already had a process in place where anytime a property changes hands, we perform a housing inspection, a building inspection. But with this requirement, we're also requiring a lead safe or lead free certificate. So because of that unique requirement, they're dubbing it the most protective ordinance in the country. And an email went out to all of the lead paint child advocacy groups across the Commonwealth and in the region, and all of council is being thanked for that achievement and for passing such a strong ordinance to protect the children of Norristown.
Nice. So I just have an observation. I think almost every department in the municipality is award winning. And I'm looking over at you two because I haven't heard you say any awards, and I know you guys are fabulous. So you need to find those awards and start applying for them so that we can have 100% award winning department heads. So everybody is bringing some, and I know you guys, and Thomas, you've shared, and Jane, I mean, you guys are doing phenomenal work, and I think you're just being very modest about what it is that you do. So let's get some awards on your desk. For 2022.
Boo.
Yeah, you'll be gone.
Boo. Council, any other questions or comments? And can we have a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Motion.